Breaking, U.S. troops under relentless Iran attack, jets racing into action. Hello everyone, it's your American girl. We begin with a major escalation in the Middle East, where U.S. military positions have come under a coordinated wave of drone and missile attacks. The most intense activity has been reported around Erbil in northern Iraq, where attack drones moved toward an American military installation and the nearby U.S. consulate compound. Air defense systems were activated immediately. Video from the area appears to show several incoming drones being intercepted over the city, with defensive missiles repeatedly engaging targets in the night sky. Those interceptions prevented at least part of the attack from reaching the ground, but the size of the assault placed sustained pressure on the defensive network. There are also indications that at least one weapon may have reached the airport area near the military installation. Images from the scene show fire and smoke, although the extent of any damage remains unclear. At the time of this report, there is no confirmed public accounting of casualties. Military authorities are continuing to assess the site, and the immediate priority is determining the condition of personnel stationed in and around the affected facilities. The attack was not limited to one location. Explosions were also reported near Sulaymaniyah, adding to concerns that the operation was designed to stretch regional defenses across several areas at once. Farther south, Kuwait reported another wave involving cruise missiles and more than 20 drones. Kuwaiti authorities said their air defenses intercepted multiple weapons before they could reach their intended targets. Taken together, these developments point to a broad regional operation rather than an isolated strike. The apparent objective was to threaten American forces, test Allied air defenses, and demonstrate the ability to launch attacks across several countries in a compressed period of time. The strategic danger is now clear. Even when most incoming weapons are intercepted, a large enough barrage can increase the chance that one or more will break through. It can also force defenders to use costly interceptor missiles at a rapid rate, creating pressure on supplies and readiness. The United States has already begun retaliatory operations inside Iran. Those strikes are aimed at the military systems believed to support the drone and missile campaign. With attacks and counterattacks unfolding across the region, the risk of a wider and more sustained conflict is rising quickly. The United States is answering the attacks on its regional forces with an expanding series of strikes inside Iran. The response is focused on military infrastructure along the coast and at other strategic locations connected to air defense, missile operations, and threats against commercial shipping. Large explosions have been reported on Hengam Island, near Keshem Island in the Strait of Hormuz. Additional strikes have been reported in Khuzestan province and around Ahvaz. These locations matter because they sit close to important maritime routes and military facilities that can support missile, drone, and coastal defense operations. This is not simply a one-for-one response to the latest attack. The operation appears designed to weaken Iran's ability to launch additional strikes, threaten commercial vessels, or restrict access through the Strait of Hormuz. That waterway is one of the most strategically important shipping corridors in the world, and any prolonged disruption there could carry consequences far beyond the immediate conflict zone. The selection of targets also offers clues about the direction of the campaign. Coastal missile sites, air defense positions, storage facilities, and command locations are usually struck to reduce an opponent's ability to see, track, and engage incoming forces. Clearing those defenses can create greater freedom of movement for aircraft and naval units. It can also prepare the battlefield for more complex operations if political leaders decide that further action is necessary. Reports of evacuations at important military compounds in Tehran suggest that Iranian authorities may be preparing for additional strikes. Personnel could be moving into hardened shelters or leaving facilities believed to be at risk. Those movements have not been independently confirmed, but they reflect the growing expectation that the target list may expand. For now, U.S. officials describe the mission as an effort to protect American forces, restore freedom of navigation, and dismantle the capabilities used in recent attacks. The central question is whether the strikes will deter further action or trigger another round of retaliation. The military campaign is active, the operational picture remains fluid, and both sides appear to be preparing for the possibility that this confrontation will continue. The confrontation is now moving beyond airstrikes and into a wider struggle over access to the Strait of Hormuz. The United States has reinstated a naval blockade, and commercial vessels attempting to move through restricted areas are reportedly being stopped and turned around. The purpose of the blockade is to prevent the movement of military supplies, restrict access to Iranian ports, and protect shipping from further attacks. But the operation also raises the stakes. Any effort to control traffic through this narrow waterway carries major military and economic consequences, especially when missiles, drones, naval forces, and commercial ships are operating in the same crowded environment. The blockade follows several days of U.S. strikes against coastal systems believed to have been used to threaten maritime traffic. By targeting missile storage locations, surveillance systems, and shore-based defenses, the United States is attempting to reduce Iran's ability to challenge naval forces or interfere with international shipping. Senior officials in Washington are also reviewing options for a broader military campaign. Those discussions reportedly include operations extending beyond the current strikes around the strait. No final decision has been announced, but the pattern of attacks suggests that planners are preparing multiple courses of action. One possibility receiving attention is the seizure or temporary control of strategically important coastal islands. Such an operation would be far more complex than an air campaign. It could require troops on the ground, secure supply lines, air cover, naval protection, and a defensive buffer against counterattack. At this point, there is no official confirmation that American ground forces have entered Iran or that an island operation has been ordered. That distinction is important. Strikes against air defenses can create conditions for many different missions, and they do not by themselves prove that a ground operation is imminent. However, the steady removal of coastal weapons and anti-aircraft systems gives military commanders more options if the conflict continues to widen. Diplomatic signals remain deeply contradictory. Washington says there have been indications of interest in an agreement, while Tehran publicly denies that negotiations are underway and says its focus remains on the fighting. At the same time, the United States is warning that additional infrastructure could be targeted if attacks continue. The immediate danger is miscalculation. A strike causing significant casualties, an incident involving a civilian vessel, or a mistaken assessment of the other side's intentions could rapidly accelerate the conflict. The blockade may strengthen military pressure, but it also places opposing forces in close proximity at a moment of extreme tension. Script 4: Information warfare and what comes next. As military operations intensify, a second battle is unfolding over information. Both sides are attempting to define what has been struck, why it was targeted, and who is responsible for the danger facing civilians across the region. Iranian media have claimed that an American strike hit a civilian wheat storage facility. U.S. military officials deny that account and say the targets were military sites connected to coastal defense, missile operations, and attacks on commercial shipping. Without independent access to every strike location, some claims remain difficult to verify in real time. That uncertainty is a defining feature of fast-moving conflicts. Images can be incomplete, locations can be mislabeled, and early casualty reports can change as authorities gain access to damaged areas. Military footage may confirm that a weapon reached a target, but it does not always show the wider effect on nearby buildings or communities. For that reason, official statements from all parties require careful attribution and continued verification. What is clear is that the conflict has entered a more dangerous phase. U.S. troops have been targeted in multiple countries. American forces are striking sites inside Iran. Air defenses are being dismantled. Shipping routes are being restricted, and important military facilities are reportedly being evacuated. The situation remains fluid, and verified information may change quickly. The key developments to watch are casualty reports from the attacked bases, evidence of further missile or drone launches, changes to the naval blockade, and any confirmed movement toward negotiations. Until then, the region remains on a war footing, with military forces at heightened readiness and the risk of further escalation still extremely high. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content.